Welcome. Good morning. It's so good to see all of you. For those of you who were here for our last gathering, welcome. For those of you who are coming for the first time, I'm so glad you're here, and welcome to you too. And welcome to this time that we celebrate the Epiphany for those of us who celebrate that, and for everyone, welcome to the new year that we enter together. So glad to see you. Like our last gathering today, what we will do is we'll follow the format. I'll do a little bit of an introduction and an invitation. We'll have 20 minutes of quiet time together. And then we'll come back together to visit and share about what came forward for us or anything else that we want to share about in contemplative connection. As folks are joining us, I'm going to give us a little time for brief quiet, and then I will go into a prayer for us and with us, and then we'll begin. So let's just take a few moments to kind of breathe in and arrive to where our feet are and to where our minds are and where our hearts are in connection with love and light and with each other. We just take a few moments to be still and miss. Thank you. Thank you for this journey through the Christmas season and all the seasons of life that we collectively and privately observe or celebrate. Thank you for this arrival together into this next year, this new year of 2023. It's pregnant with possibilities, but also this year, this moment is ripe with the sacred space of being in the now and in this time as we share together. Guide us, accompany us as we listen to our souls and as we listen to one another, as we listen for the peace that surrounds us and the peace that resides within us. Thank you. So welcome all. I see more coming. That's wonderful. This is a little different in that we get to talk about what we experienced in walking through the 12 prayers within the prayer of St. Francis. And I have to tell you, I really enjoyed it. I felt the presence of others in this practice. So even though I'm the author of the Discovery Journal, the prayer is still a prayer that is from that higher place and that higher wisdom. And I really felt the presence of others practicing. So I'm just start off with thank you for sharing that with me. And whether you practice 1 day, 12 days, any of that is, as I said in the last time we were together, is all wonderful. What I found coming up for me is I had thoughts about, in that connection with you all, is like, I wonder how you're all doing. And then I felt that invitation to come back to, well, wait a minute, this is my practice. How am I doing? And I noticed that some natural things started happening again for me that came before, but maybe in a little different way. And for me, one of those things was what I found again to be what I feel to be a natural progression of the prayer, going from the responsive prayers 1 through 8, then spending time in what I originally called character building prayers to the how-to prayers. And I found particularly in the character building prayers, my language became more and more, these are my proactive prayers, and these are my non-passive prayers. I felt almost a different feeling in my body when I enter that section of the prayer, as if this is just a little more, the only other word I can find is a little more proactive. And then finally, the third part being the last part of our prayer, the how-to prayers. For it is by self-forgetting that one finds, it is by forgiving that one is forgiven. it is by dying that one awakens to eternal life. You know, I found myself in that portion of the prayer, again, being grateful that, to me, this is one of the most powerful parts of the prayer. And it is, to me, the part that says, now, how do you do this? So, but in that, I will say some specific things came up also. So I'll get to that in a minute. The other thing I wanted to mention is, in my experience, this walk through this journey through the prayer, I had words that kind of came up for me that I didn't see before. And sometimes in our contemplative practice, that can be a way of connecting with the prayer and with the practice and with our own soul language. And for me, some of the words that came out stronger than before was, I couldn't help but notice it. The first line is, make me a channel of peace, that where there is hatred, I may bring love. And I was really struck with the word may. May, as I had to kind of look at may versus might a while back. And may says it's probable that it's going to happen. Might says it's possible, but may is a little bit more hopeful. There's a higher probability, at least that's how the dictionary describes it too. And so that felt, you know, I couldn't help but notice that it could have been, I might have hope, but in our prayer it says, I may have hope, or I may have faith. And then the other word that really struck me this time around was the word seek. I just have a high value for the word seek. It's, to me, it is the verb that connects me to my contemplative practice. And I just love being with others like yourself that are in that practice of seeking. For me, it also says that I don't have the conclusion and I'm not done yet, which is, I find that comforting and rewarding. So really, that's all I have to say about what my experience was in it. I wanted to give us more time also to have 20 minutes where we can sit together alone or alone together, to sit in contemplation, reflection, and meditation. And I have some questions that may help you enter that time, but it is totally how this time meets you is what works. And then afterwards, we'll come back together and we'll have some sharing. And so some of those questions that I had come up for me was, in this overall process and journey, and practice with this prayer, be it one prayer within or all parts of the prayer, what gifts did I find in the peace of this prayer? What did I find practical in using in my everyday life? I'm going to give an example of that. I found myself in a situation where there were other human beings, and so I was getting irritated. But, you know, that's just in a very beautiful place. But here I am, I'm noticing my irritation. And for a moment, I was able to recall where there is discord, may I bring harmony. And for me, that was the discord in me. And I'm not telling you that it resolved all my irritation, but it felt good to bring the prayer into practical application of my real life. So a question may be, where did I experience prayer becoming a practical practice? Or where did I experience it showing up in my life because I was in this intentional practice during this period? I will say in the last prayer of this prayer, for it is by self-forgetting that one finds, I have to say that the self-forgetting really stood out for me. I think that for me could be a place that I could hang out for a while. I think it's an invitation to me. So I may look at that, and it may be something you find in your quiet time, that there was one piece that stood out to you as an invitation to spend a little more time Another invitation is, or another question maybe to think about is, where did you find yourself challenged? And to maybe look at that challenge as what I call a flag for deeper and greater care. You know, when I find myself disturbed by something, I try to look at it as an invitation, or what I call a flag for care. This may be an entry point of something that needs noticing and caring for. I was going to say something else about that, but it just left me. Oh, the other thing is, you may find some place that felt like a celebration. You know, enter that too. And you may want to spend time just in gratitude on that. So those were just some of my thoughts. I again just welcome you all here. I'm so glad we're getting to spend this time together. Inviting you to walk into your 20 minutes with the prayer of St. Francis, a portion, all of it, none of it, any of it. And then we'll come back and be together in a time for sharing. So enjoy your meditation and your time with St. Francis prayer. I'll mark the time, so don't worry about that, and have a good meditation.